Sit back, crime time's yours. Take a sip of water, juice, hell beer if you're not driving. It's time for This Is My Courtroom, featuring the Honorable Judge Stephanie Boyd. And as always, thanks for watching.
But I went to a new restaurant this weekend. Never been there before. Parking is not great, but the food was good. Guillermo's. Yes. You know, they have some of the best calamari I've tasted in San Antonio.
I was there about a month ago for the first time.
Oh, hey. Yay. Yeah, it's downtown.
I've been wanting to go there forever.
You should go. Although I will tell you, it's a maze to figure out where the front door is. But it's awesome. Court is calling 2022 CR 10916, State of Texas versus Carrie L. Henderson. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense.
Todd Lester for Mr. Henderson.
Are you Mr. Henderson?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor, and I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Henderson, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Judge.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 1 year in the state jail facility. There are no applications. The state will take in consideration grand jury number 803-269, JN2136760, night mag number 7145598. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Judge.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
State offer State Exhibit 1 in all attachments.
Any objections?
No objections.
State, you may be excused. Mr. Henderson, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Mr. Henderson takes full responsibility. He's pled guilty before this court and wants to put all this behind him. He's very anxious to put this behind him.
All right, the court will find you guilty. The court will take in consideration grand jury number 803-269, JN number 2136760, night mag number 7145598, sentence you to 1 year in the state jail facility and give you credit for any time served. If you would like, I can refer you to the therapeutic community. It does not increase the length of time that you're in custody, but if you have a drug problem, it will help you with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, with regards to the therapeutic community, You'll have to request it as well because I don't have any jurisdiction to force them to place you in it. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I ordered the therapeutic community. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
I'm 41.
All right, you're 41 years old. Are your parents still in your life?
Yes, ma'am.
And how old is your mom?
She about to be 60.
All right. Does your mom love you?
Yes, ma'am.
You're breaking her heart.
That's what I'm trying to get this passed. So I can get back to her.
So, but when you say get it past you, you've got to work on it.
Mhm.
You got to stop using drugs because otherwise what will end up happening is drugs damage your body inside and outside. You don't want to be that person where there's somebody found dead in San Antonio and people trying to identify the body and your mom learns on social media that it's you. Because the last time you use could be the last time you use. When you go into custody, nobody likes being in custody. And they always say, when I get out, I'm never going to do this again. But then the first thing they get out, maybe they're good for a couple of days, maybe not. Maybe they say, ooh, I'm celebrating, I'm out. The first thing you need to do is go to AA meetings or NA meetings. And if there's anybody in your life who are trying to stop you from going to AA or NA meetings saying, well, you don't have to go today. Let's play some dominoes. You don't have to go today. Let's go hang out at the park. You need to cut them loose because the number one thing in your life should be your sobriety. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have children?
No, ma'am.
All right, that's good. Get your life together.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There's no application. Court is calling 2023 CR 2434, State of Texas versus Daniel Fretwell. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins for the state.
Defense?
Catherine Valenzuela.
Are you Daniel Fretwell?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Fretwell, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yeah.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the prison and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No such motions have been filed.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
Your Honor, submit States Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Your Honor, my client and I reviewed stage one. We have no objection.
Mr. Fretwell, I'll state you may be excused.
Thank you.
Mr. Fretwell, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, does anyone know, because from what I read in the police report, it says that the vehicle was stolen?
Still charged. He had been making payments on it.
I was buying it, but I didn't know it was stolen. I was making
And so
payments.
they
on it.
never went further on
Okay.
it.
All right, anything you wish to say, Mr. Fretwell?
No, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Fretwell, it appears that you have a drug problem. So if you want, I can refer you to the therapeutic community. It does not increase the length of time that you are in prison, but they may be able to help you with your drug issue.
Your Honor, Mr. Fretwell, yes, he does have a drug problem. He picked up a case pending this one
Mhm.
in Williamson County. He's already been sentenced to 3 years on that. He was in TDC and brought back to handle this case.
Okay.
So he's already been,
I've been in there for
Different.
8 months.
and so we believe he is getting some treatment and he's looking.
Are
at
you receiving
parole.
treatment at the prison?
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm. All right, then I'll put therapeutic community. I want this case to stop you from getting treatment. Court will find you guilty, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, and the court will recommend the therapeutic community. Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because, all right, we can go off the record. How old are you, Mr. Fretwell?
52,
All right, how long have you been using?
a long time.
All right, so here's the thing. You are going to have to make sure that you stop using. I read in the police report, you were talking about your mom. Is your mom still alive? All right, and I'm sure your mom loves you, right? Stop breaking her heart. So when you go to the prison, you're saying that they're already giving you treatment there, continue with it. Be actively participating, internalize it. When you are released from prison, I know people are excited because they're released. You're probably going to run to your mom, tell her how sorry you are, and it's never going to happen again. You got to remember prison. You got to remember your treatment. And the first thing you need to do when you get out of prison is go to an NA or AA meeting and keep it up. And if somebody tries to dissuade you from going, and by that, I mean, if you have a scheduled standing appointment with AA and they say, well, let's just stop and have lunch. You can do AA tomorrow. Or you can do it this afternoon. That person, you got to cut them loose, because everybody from here on out who's in your life, when you tell them you have an AA or NA meeting, and if it's at noon or 8 a.m. every day, that person should be saying, oh, do you need a ride to your class? Not, let's just stop and have breakfast. You can go late, because that causes you to backslide. The last thing you want to be is the person in Bexar County and somebody's trying to identify your body, and then they tell your mom that you passed. You understand? Last time you use could be the last time you use. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello, how are you doing today?
Good and you
Oh, I'm doing great. Why do you think you're here?
for compliance hearing for coming out positive.
All right. And what else?
That should be it.
Well, let me just tell you the report I'm receiving on you. All right, and this is what the probation officer is saying to me about you. And how old are you?
20.
All right, you're 20. Since obtaining the probationer's case, when they say probationer, they're talking about you. He has shown zero to very minimal effort regarding his probation. The probationer has had issues reporting on time, reporting for field visits, testing positive for cocaine and meth, and enrolling or providing proof of employment for any remaining court-ordered programs. The probationer and I have had several discussions regarding his actions and how or what we can do to get back on track, really stressing the small actions, such as simply calling this probation officer within 24 hours after an attempted field visit, or taking accountability for his action. The probationer appears to continue to struggle to grasp the severity of his circumstances and what he can do to grow and move forward with his life and the lessons he can learn on his probation path. That's the report that I have on you. The report tells me you are doing nothing, zero, nada. Why are you doing nothing on this probation in this court other than using drugs?
I have attended 2 of the 4 classes, and we have had
No, they say you don't even call in.
probably when they come for a field visit.
Yeah, they say you're not doing the simplest of things. And what I can tell you is you've had 3 motions to revoke in this court. So, and I know that each time you came before me, I've told you that you're looking at up to 10 years in the prison. Deputy Laura, could you do me a favor? Could you place the handcuffs on him, please? Each time you come before me, I know I've told you you're looking at doing 10 years in prison. Obviously, your mother is not laying down the law with you at home. They say that you keep saying that you work with your mom, but you don't provide any proof. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to allow you to work with your mom because I don't know if your mom is actually having you work with her. So you're going to ISF. And the reason why I'm sending you to ISF is because you need an attitude adjustment. You understand? Now, if you don't want to sign to go to ISF, you don't have to sign for it. What will end up happening is a motion to revoke will be filed. So which would you prefer?
ISF, Your Honor.
All right. So he wants to go to ISF, and if you could put him in ISF cognitive.
Your Honor, so we, the recommendation was for local ISF.
Okay.
He did complete the state ISF.
Okay.
Are you?
Well,
wanted to go
if
ahead and
the
go with
recommendation
the
is local, we can go with the local.
Okay.
Has he been drug tested?
He's on a drug patch, Your Honor.
All right. All right. So you're going to go to local ISF. This is the last time we're going to have this conversation with you following rules. Obviously, your mom is not laying down the law with you. So you're not going to be allowed to work with your mom. You're going to have to get a job with a different employer, because if you get a job with a different employer, that employer, if you don't report, they're not going to pay you. They're not going to call the court and say, oh yeah, he reported for work if you did not. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you want to go to prison?
No, Your Honor.
All right. If you want to go to prison, I will get an attorney appointed to you and you can go to prison and I'll send you to prison. How old are you?
20 years old.
All right. You're 20. You're going to have to start doing better. Do you have children?
No.
That's a good thing. Probation, this is serious. And I hope I'm getting your attention because we're not going to have a conversation again where you're not doing anything. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, is there anything else you need to be successful on this probation?
No, it shouldn't be.
All right. Do not come back here again where you are not doing anything. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I keep an open mind on everything, but we are not going to have any more compliance hearings with you. If I get a report and it appears that everything is in order, a motion to revoke is going to be filed. When a motion to revoke is filed, what ends up happening is a warrant is issued for your arrest and you will be picked up wherever you may be. You could be at the grocery store in the middle of checking out or have already checked out. You know what's going to happen? Those groceries are going to be put to the side and they're going to take you to jail. If you are at home, they're going to pick you up and take you to jail. If you're in the middle of watching a movie and you're at the part where they're about to solve everything, guess what? If they pick you up during that time, you're going to miss what happens. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
In this court, probation is serious. In this court, communication is key. And probation officers know that I like for them to communicate with people. And that's why they put in here that they've had several discussions with you regarding your actions. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Court is calling 2023 CR 1042, State of Texas versus Celine Renee Briard. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkes for the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Robert Gaona for the defendant.
Are you Celine Briard?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Briard.
Briard? Oh, I was doing great. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Briard, I'm showing you what's entitled application for probation. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
In count one, you're charged with the offense of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information, 5 items or more. That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And up to 2 years in the state jail facility. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record. Are you all in agreement with her having probation or?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry.
Okay. All right, we're back on the record. Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived a right to jury trial, showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count one. Punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. There's a $500 fine to be probated. State recommends community supervision. There's to be restitution, if any, to one. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours community service restitution, and no contact with. Did you understand that to be the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the agreement?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just one moment, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. What threw me off is that the name has been spelled differently and the no contact order. So what's outside the agreement, which means that the state and the defense may have come to an agreement, but I don't have to follow it. So outside the agreement, the state and the defense have both agreed that you should be placed on community supervision for 3 years, but I could place you on community supervision for more than 3 years. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
They've agreed that you do the TAP evaluation. I can either say yes to the TAP evaluation or no to the TAP evaluation. Do you understand?
Yes.
I could either say yes or no to the 100 hours of community service restitution. I can give you more than that. Do you understand?
Yes.
And there's a no contact with. And the way it's spelled in that is, all right, then to the offense as charged in count one, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State any evidence?
Your Honor, I submit State's Exhibit 1 and the attachments.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Briard, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We'd ask that you would, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
That's good. That you follow the plea bargain agreement, allow her to be released today. She can report for any type of appointments that are necessary for completion of probation.
All right. So how many children do you have? All right, excuse me. In this area, you all are blocking probation. She cannot hear, she cannot see.
I have 3 children. I'm expecting.
All right. How old are your 3 other children?
They're 2, 3, and 5 months.
And where are they?
They're with their grandmother.
So how long have they been with their grandmother?
A couple of months, Judge.
Why?
I just had some things going on. I thought it was best for my mother-in-law has custody of my kids right now.
Why does she have custody?
Because I had
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to speak
I
up.
had a CPS case going on because of my son had got out of the apartment when everybody was sleeping early in the morning, and so
Is this the 5-month-old?
no, ma'am, they're 2, 3-year-old.
Okay. So you have a CPS case.
Yes, ma'am. It's currently about to be closed.
Oh, it's about to be closed?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means if it's about to be closed, that means, and your attorney does CPS work, right? So tell her what that means, counselor.
Judge, what happened was it turned out to be a safety plan, an investigation in which I met the safety placement and she verified everything.
So,
If everything pans out, she knows it will be closed. If not, it could go legal. but
and
we
the
looked into
reason
it.
why they do the safety plans means exactly what it says, safety plan.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's your drug of choice?
I mean, I don't do any drugs right now, but I was using methamphetamines, but I've been sober for quite a while now.
All right, how often were you using meth?
Like maybe every week, every other week. It just depends.
When's the last time you used meth?
Like 4 months.
All right, so that's probably why CPS was involved. When's the last time you had employment?
I was right before I was arrested.
Doing what?
I was doing home health care and working for a hotel at the front desk.
All right, I can tell you right now, I don't allow people on probation here to be home health care providers.
Yes, ma'am.
How far did you go in school?
To the 8th grade.
See, and this is nothing about you, but this is my problem with home health care providers. Home health care providing is turning into West telemarketing. They don't do background checks. They're just letting anybody come in. And maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but they're looking at the bottom line, the dollar line. So I'm being told that they're letting somebody with an 8th grade education who has meth issues, who has 3 children that she doesn't even have custody for them, work as a home health care provider. Thank you, home health care provider people. So that is why I don't let people work as home health care provider. Now, maybe once you get your life together, maybe that will be a good fit for you, but I'm not going to allow that.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
So why do you only have your 8th grade education?
I just never furthered my education, but I am in, actually, just before I got arrested, got some GD books from the library, so I am trying to pursue my GD.
Okay. So what are you planning on doing with your rest of your life? What are your hopes, your dreams?
Well, after I get my GD, I want to be a cosmetologist. So.
Okay. Hey, that's doable. But I will tell you this, anything that requires a license, when you have convictions, before you start spending all that money to do it, you need to find out from the state, wherever you're going to be licensed, if that's going to be a hindrance to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Not saying that it will stop you, but it may cause complications.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, is there anything else?
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. There's a $500 fine that will be probated. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to ask for parenting classes. Probation, whatever parenting classes you deem would be appropriate for her, obviously it needs to be intensive, because for them to say that the children are to remain where they remain, that means that she didn't do any. So I'm going to want intensive. There's to be restitution and no contact with. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. The UA hotline until further notice. Field visits. One time per month until further notice. TAP evaluation in custody. Follow all TAP recommendations. If TAP is recommending outpatient treatment, then I'm going to want intensive outpatient treatment. If they are recommending inpatient treatment, then she can do intensive treatment and do a referral to felony drug court. I know that felony drug court is full, but maybe she can be placed on the wait list if they are recommending inpatient treatment for her. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Yes. All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
Judge, she'd like to know how much longer or how long she would be waiting for that TAP evaluation since you ordered it in custody.
Yes. Up to 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so here's the thing. Those 3 children, those are your children. It's not the grandparents' child. The grandparents are just supposed to be grandparents to children. They're not supposed to be raising more children, which is raising your children. You cannot have children and then tell them to go to Travis Park and say, you're on your own. And there is no reason a child should be able to get out of your house and you not know about it, and they're that age. So many things could have happened to your child when they got out of the house. Could have been hit by a car. And guess what? People can't see children that age because they're tiny and they're small. Somebody could have picked them up. And guess what? There's a reason we have indecency with a child cases in this court. Anything could have happened to your child. And when you're using drugs and you're pregnant, whatever you're using, your child is using too. So if you don't think a baby should be smoking a cigarette, you shouldn't be smoking a cigarette, because guess what? When you're carrying a child and you're smoking a cigarette, your babies are smoking a cigarette. If you don't think a child should be doing alcohol, when you're drinking alcohol, your baby's drinking alcohol. You're going to have to start making better choices. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Yes.